Welcome to Oops, All Apocalypses, a show where we explore the collapse of society by playing fun tabletop role-playing games. I'm your host, Stu Masterson, and I'm joined by one bear and one alien.
I claim the bear because my shirt has a bear on it.
And my shirt has an alien on it.
Oh my God.
What a coincidence.
Because I'm wearing our merch because I'm a real believer.
Yeah, I'm not wearing our merch. I'm wearing a shirt with a bear with sunglasses.
Do you have a podcast? If you do you wear your own merch to your own podcast for records? If you don't, get shit on. I win. Fuck you. I win.
So who is it that just said all that?
Hey, everybody. I'm Angry Brad. That's my alter ego. And I play Angry Book McReady, the super stressed and stretched sleuth.
That's good.
Who is trying to
Nice teaser.
trying to save his buddy. He's trying to save his buddy. Get with the fucking program. I'm Angry Brad.
And I'm Bear, and I play Ocean, a gentle giant who's made some questionable moral and ethical decisions as of late.
Yeah.
Both in past and present.
This has been a fun little sojourn into your mind.
It's been really rough.
Yeah, I will obviously talk a lot about it during our upcoming 60th episode extravaganza, Oops, All Talk Apocalypses, which is coming soon, everyone. And if you got questions, send them to us on email or on social media or anywhere you can think of possibly doing it. But I really liked it. I thought it was fun. It was weird to do that many episodes as you were falling to your death. I will admit that. But I also thought if you were going to die at the end, it would have been a nice way for you to get some closure to your
That
character.
is true. Learn more about myself.
Before you splatter. This week we have a BuzzFeed Presents Apocalypse, and I think it's my turn.
It is.
I haven't started thinking, so I'm just going to start talking. I want two things. What is the nicest thing you've done to a stranger?
Okay.
And what is the nicest thing a stranger has done
I
to
thought
you?
these were supposed to be apocalypse related.
No.
They've never been apocalypse.
They started out as like things you'd bring to a deserted island.
Is a deserted island an apocalypse?
Your apocalypse.
I think the post-apocalypse is mostly about community and establishing societies back from the crumbles of what was left before and making not even a new world, but a better world.
You've made it relevant. It's fine. Okay, the nicest thing Book ever did for a stranger, growing up around Hamlet Opening, which come to find out Book's parents were never that far away from and could have come back at literally any time to see him and chose not to. Growing up around Hamlet Opening to make ends meet before Book got roped into the scavenging adventures of Ocean. Book used to solve mysteries around Hamlet Opening, and one of those mysteries was a girl around his age lost her favorite book, and she did not know where she lost it. She could not find it. She asked Book to help her, and Book could not find it either. And instead of telling her that he could not find it, he went and got his own copy of that book and gave it to her instead.
Oh, that is very sweet.
It was also one of his books. That girl,
What book was it?
don't know. Maybe Frida, maybe Callista.
It's a
I don't know.
stranger. You
It's
don't
up to
know.
you.
The whole point is that it's somebody you don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it would be a stranger. Maybe it was Frida. It definitely wasn't Callista then.
At him at the time, it was a stranger.
Yeah. A stranger's just a friend you haven't made
The
yet.
nicest thing a stranger has ever done for Book is when Johnny Hertz put on that giant hat and painted over one of Frida's paintings so that we could spy on Frida.
I liked that. That was
Pretty good. So let's see.
That doesn't count. I just realized because Johnny Hertz was not a stranger. Okay.
Yeah, Johnny Hertz ain't a stranger.
Sorry.
We've marked
All right.
history.
Okay, I got to think of a real one. Okay, I got it. When Book was a kid, again struggling to kind of make ends meet to get by, somebody left a bunch of food at his cave, and it was like enough to last Book like 6 months, just cans and cans, and it wasn't in like a crate or anything, but it was stacked perfectly. So there's really only one real person it could have been. who transported those all by hand in a perfect stack, carried them all the way from Subtropolis.
Cheese monster.
No.
No, you're trying to make it so Beethoven likes you. I like it though. It could have been.
Maybe Beethoven's a gentle giant as well.
I bet he carried it with one arm.
Yes. I heard he's such a badass. He feeds poor children.
I bet he opens the cans by flexing on them. Spurts out the side.
That's how I crack my eggs, because I'm built different.
All right, so let's see. For Ocean, I think the nicest thing Ocean's probably ever done for a stranger, and I'll kind of tie it back, kind of how you did, and look at some past stuff in Ocean's life. So, from what we know about Ocean with his past, he had some nebulous time in the past as something. Then he joined the tower. Then he lost his memories and became feral for a little while, and then he became a scavenger. So I imagine when he was first starting, when Ocean first came to Hamlet Opening, he did lots of odd jobs kind of to make quick money, and he was also a thief. So one of the nicest things I think Ocean has ever done to somebody is more than likely while working an odd job for the ramen factory, Mr. Noodles probably
the soggy noodle and Captain Noodles.
So the working on for the soggy noodle, Captain Noodle was probably throwing out a whole bunch of extra scraps that.
Sorry, it's the soggy worm. Just
this. Damn it.
Soggy worm. Get it together, Jacob.
So while Ocean was working odd jobs at one point, probably at the soggy worm, Captain Noodle was probably having him throw out, or Captain Noodle had him throw out a whole bunch of food that would have normally gone to waste. More than likely, the rats had perforated a little bit or something, or maybe the styrofoam content was just a little too high for him to get away with selling it. But instead of disposing it, Ocean took it out, and some people probably came and tried to take it from him because they were starving in Subtropolis. And so rather than throwing it away, he was like, okay, here you go, just take it, you can have this food. I think the nicest thing somebody has done for Ocean, and this is what I thought of immediately, and I had to think of something for something nice he's done, is during his days as kind of a part-time thief, he was caught by one of the people he was targeting, and rather than turning him in or killing him or anything, they saw how kind of how disheveled and unkempt and kind of feral Ocean was, and rather than turning him in or killing him, they decided, here, we'll just donate some stuff to you. And so they gave him some supplies, maybe a little cash, let him spend the night, and then sent him on the way the next day.
Oh, that's sweet. That question turned out much better than I thought. For me, so I don't get too personal, I'm going to go with quantity over quality. Okay. And the nicest things that people generally do to me are they say I have really cool shoes all the time.
Nice. That is always a great compliment.
But not because I'm wearing cool shoes, because I'm wearing pink zebra Crocs. It's always the pink zebra Crocs. And then nice things I say to people. I used to play a fun game. I don't know if you knew I did this, Brady. I think I've probably done it when you're around, but I used to always try to compliment people when we were leaving like one bar and going to another one on the way out. Like, hey, we already decided to leave. And as we're going, I'd be like, hey, your nails are super cool. Boom, gone.
Oh, nice.
Stuff like that.
That's pretty fun.
Because then there's no pressure. Just like, hey, I'm not just like hitting on you or anything like that. I'm just gone. Works great. Hopefully makes their day better. And if everyone did that, you would never be able to leave a bar because it would be an absolute ruckus. But more people should.
It's a great idea, actually. I like that.
Book Snook. Book Tea. Hey, everyone. It's Book here. Are you ready for another Book Snook of Book Takes? Well, if you are, then I think Jacob has one.
Yeah, despite my saying, wow, this week, actually, I have an interesting book nook of book takes. And I had this idea for something we could talk about ever since playing through the DLC of Elden Ring. And most of the Dark Souls games, as well as a lot of Miyazaki games, kind of take place in a pseudo post-apocalyptic scenario. And playing those games kind of made me think if you guys knew of or had any other ideas for possible medieval post-apocalyptic content, because I don't think that's a genre that's explored very often, and about the only one I can think of are the Dark Souls franchise or Elden Ring.
There is a really bad movie that I cannot remember the name of, and I apologize if it's not actually a bad movie. I actually really liked it, but I think it's probably considered a bad movie. And half the people it takes place in, I think, the UK. And there's like night people who live in castles.
Okay.
And then there's like the city people who are like cyberpunk Mad Max people.
Interesting.
And I don't remember the name of this movie.
Never
I'm gonna try
heard
to
of this.
Google it. But that's the closest thing I think I heard.
I think Game of Thrones gets pretty close with the original, like the Long Night.
Oh yeah, the lore in that.
Like that's pretty like ice zombies, you know? I mean, the series kind of shied away from that. Like they got close several times. There were like Hard Home, that episode has like the zombie thing, but I think there's a prequel book about the original Long Night or something. I haven't read it, but I think that would fall under the category of medieval post-apocalyptic.
The movie I was thinking of is Doomsday, which has a perfect 50% on
So
the
it's
tomato.
gotta be good.
It was the type of movie that I have to watch because of this podcast, and I'm always looking for post-apocalyptic things, but it wasn't good enough for me to try to talk about it during Hooks
Very
Netflix
nice.
takes. But look where we're at.
Is Castlevania
I
post-apocalyptic?
don't think it would count as post-apocalyptic.
I don't know. I mean, some pretty apocalyptic shit happens.
That is true.
Millions
That
of
is true.
people-ish died or were killed, and then a giant monster Dracula, and then in the sequel, the Castlevania Nocturne. I'm talking about the Netflix series. I don't know if
I haven't actually.
Yeah, I realized that way
I
too
was about to
late.
say, I have not actually seen the Netflix series, so I can't comment on this.
Okay. Well,
I can, but I don't want to comment because it's a whole other conversation.
is that apocalyptic? Vampire apocalypse?
I don't think so. It could be. It's closer to what Jacob's talking about, which I do think is a very underexplored area in media.
I agree. I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, for example, in the Dark Souls world, you take the entire game, the very first Dark Souls takes place in a kingdom that is it is far past its prime. It is dilapidated, infested by zombies and skeletons, and there's not a single living soul. But at some point, looking at the scenery and the structures and like the architecture, you know that at one point in time, this world was populated with a thriving society.
Yeah. It's very like all of the games really, I actually haven't played all of them, but all the ones I played are very like, they seem like they were once very population
very lived
dense.
in.
Like,
Yep.
Yes.
And then
I do love the game.
That sounds awesome. I've heard Dark Souls is hard though, so I'll never be able to
it
play
is
it.
very hard, but I think the difficulty is a little overstated in some aspects.
Probably because you're
Jacob's elite gamer though. Yeah.
I'm terrible. But I just find that an interesting, like, what if society had ended in the medieval ages? What would a post-apocalyptic medieval age look like? And I guess we have some real world examples with the Black Plague.
Yeah.
That was almost an apocalyptic level event right there.
I feel like this definitely doesn't fit into the case you're laying out, but I feel like parts of like the Green Knight had that feeling of it.
The movie?
Yeah, the movie, not the old tale.
That's what I say.
Had that feeling. Yeah.
I need to check out the Green Knight. I've heard very good things.
I liked it more than I think most people from an RPG perspective, because that's what I always want to talk about. I think you could do a medieval game just pretty much straight up in apocalypse
Sure, for
world.
sure.
I think it would
You'd have to just reflavor some of the stuff.
basically not give anyone guns, give them more range of things. There's a couple other systems that I think would work really well.
There is a system. This system actually inspired partly me asking this question, actually, and it is a system called Morkborg. And the whole concept behind Morkborg is that the world is definitively ending during your campaign. At the start of every session or story, you roll a dice, and based on the results of the die roll, this apocalyptic prophecy is fulfilled. And there's no way to subvert the apocalypse. The apocalypse is ongoing during your game, and it's a very dark and grim and similar to like the Dark Souls vibes of a dilapidated world falling apart at the seams.
See, but my thing is with all of this, I guess, and there were in one of these intros, if you go back and listen to all of our episodes, I talk about how really post-apocalyptic media is about trying to rebuild society,
Yes.
even if it's with a bunch of stuff fighting and exploding, and it eventually comes back to like interactions with other humans and like what's important, what are your real needs and things like that. And in most of these examples we're talking about, it's more like Very solo.
Yeah.
Green Knight, Dark Souls, all by yourself. The entire time.
Yeah, but that is a genre, kind of the loner, like Book of Eli.
But that's still about.
I mean, it's still about it's still about hope, at the end of the day.
Yeah, even Mad Max is about the same stuff though, and that's Max is one dude.
Right.
So
that's fair.
I don't know. I get what you're saying though, because I do think that like Dark Souls type stuff is still very post-apocalyptic in a way, but maybe in a different way.
Yeah, it's
than
definitely
most.
in a different kind of, because it's something. The reason I brought it up is I thought it would be an interesting discussion, because it's not really something you normally think of as post-apocalyptic. You don't play Elden Ring and be like, wow, look at this dope post-apocalyptic game. You think, wow, what is this cool medieval open world? But then when you really think about it and look at it, it's you're living in a post-humanity world where it is now crumbling in ruins of what once was.
I actually have a good. I may have already talked about this in a previous Book Nook of Book Takes, but the audio it's an audio book, but it's more like an audio production called Impact Winter. It's based on a comic book, but season 3 of that audio production just came out, and it is not medieval in that it takes place in modern times, but it is a vampire induced asteroid apocalypse. Like sun is blotted out, and there's like they have like ATVs and they have some electricity, but everyone's got like swords,
Interesting.
Like very limited. Like there's not really much guns going on. It's more medieval weaponry type deal. So that's kind of not really, but kind of, but it's good. You should listen to it. Worth a listen, and I want to get the comic book and read the comic.
Speaking of worth a listen and wanting to get the comic as well, let's get back to the action.
Whoa, we have a comic?
All right, so last episode we ended with Ocean waking up to find Book with the rope wrapped around his arm, his one arm, and his other arm firmly grasping yours to keep you from falling to your death. I think Book's arm is dislocated, probably.
Yeah, let's kick this off with a good act under fire roll.
From who?
Yes, from Book. You were literally unconscious.
I thought he came too.
If Jacob couldn't make this one, I was going to do a solo episode with Brady where you were just unconscious the whole time.
Oh, wow.
You ran into a bunch of shit on the way back.
Oh, that would have been pretty dope, actually. Cool. That would have been so good. You want me to leave?
Yeah, get out of here.
So good at an episode concept.
Him dragging you back, trying to get the spider started with no gas in it. And like,
holy hell, that would have been so good. You should have told me.
I rolled 2 4s. What is act under fire for?
Cool. So you get +2 or 3. So you got a 10 or 11.
+3. So that is an 11.
Excellent. Good rolling. You feel this pop in your arm. You don't know if it's like fully dislocated or what, but you are holding tight. But Ocean is just like completely limp in your arm. Not even moving.
Cool. Like I mentioned, I've got I don't think grip strength is an issue because I twisted my arm up in the rope.
Yes, Brady right now is doing a cowgirl lassoing maneuver with his arm for anyone who can't see it.
Accurate. And so I think Book is trying to figure out how to like offload Ocean's weight. So I don't have any hands free. I'm kind of screwed. Are there any like openings below us that I could swing Ocean into? Because all I got on my legs, basically. My one arm's holding the Ocean. Yeah. My other arm's holding the rope.
There are a couple like pitons around you from when he was going down that you could get like a foot grip on probably. There are these holes, but like usual, you don't know what direction they go in. They could go down, they could go up, which if you throw them in like a going up hole, he would just slide right back.
Okay. Should we find out how much torque the fake Suvius RC car has? Fake Suvius.
Yes.
Are you out of the car, out of the spider?
Yeah. I figured out how to get out. I'm a little scared about the situation that just kind of went down.
Yeah, you should be. Listen, I need you to wind this rope around your back axle and see if you can winch us up a little bit so that we're not vertical, just enough so that we can get some footing and pull Ocean up.
Okay, I do not know exactly what some of those words meant, but I will do my best. And how far down do you think you can see him? Are you like still near the top, or did you slide down a bunch?
I think I'm still close to the top, but like I don't think I would be able to get my head over the ledge.
He comes in and he pokes his little head over the top and looks down at you guys, and he goes, just hold on tight. Do not let him go. It looks like you're in there pretty snug. So try to keep your shoulder connected to your arm.
Yeah, but my hand is not very strong.
Yeah, you are shaking something awful there. And it seems like you were sweaty from the conversation before. So this probably will not hold on.
Vesuvius, please hurry.
Okay, let me try to figure this out. And you hear some frantic whirring, and the rope just kind of like vibrates a little, and then it stops for a little bit, and then you hear kind of a different sound. It's like more of like a deeper like, and then the rope again just kind of vibrates. There's a long pause. You're not sure if he's like disappeared, but then you finally start feeling yourself getting slowly pulled up, just like just a little bit at a time, and you get high enough up. Give me try something challenging roll.
This is hard.
This is aggro.
Oh no. I rolled a 3.
A 3?
That's one of the worst numbers you could possibly roll. He pulls you up just enough where you can see the top of it, and he has the rope in his teeth, and he's trying to pull it down, and he's grinding against the ground as hard as he can, trying to keep himself pushed up. But he reaches this point where the center of gravity shifts, and he catapults up, and you fall down. You like slide back to your original spot where you are, and you feel your arm just kind of splinter against the weight of Ocean. Give me a 0 harm move.
I don't know how to do that. I just roll, right?
Yep, just 2d6.
I don't like the mental image of your arm.
Ooh, I rolled a 10.
Oh, that's good. Then you're fine. Yeah, it hurts for a minute, but you refocus your head. You don't think Vesuvius is going to be able to help you. He comes over and he looks like dazed, like he hit his head against the rock. There's a little blood trickling down from the top. He's like, I think you guys need to lose a little bit of weight.
Okay, Vesuvius, other question. The winch on the front of the spider, can you operate it?
I was able to shoot one of the pitons earlier. I can probably push the crank button.
Okay. I need you to get the end of that hook. I need you to get me the hook.
What hook?
The winch. Like one of the fired pitons, something. I need you to get it to me. Wrap it around probably one of my legs, and we're gonna try not to draw and quarter me when we winch us up.
Do not skewer it into Ocean's hide. I know you are upset with him.
You need to hurry.
I'm sure
you need to stop talking, and you need to hurry, please.
I just want to make sure you guys are okay. I'm worried about you two. Remember, you still love each other.
That is why I'm currently dangling off of this cliff.
He disappears, and a short while later, you hear as one of the pitons goes soaring right over your head and clatters down beneath you, and then starts coming back up. It's just cranking up. It's like 10 feet beneath you right now, but it's coming up towards you backwards,
Okay.
not the skewery way.
Twirl my leg around it as it's winching up, and then pinch it under my knee to try to I'm gonna get ripped in half in all likelihood, but that's what I'm going with.
So it starts dragging you upward as it reaches your legs. You deftly close your ankles right above where the rope connects to the piton, and it starts pulling you up, but it is just grinding you against this stone. So you are going to take 2 armor piercing harm as you go up, but it does drag you all the way up to the top, and you get to a point where you can reach out with your arm, get the weight of yourself on top, and pull Ocean the rest of the way.
Incredible.
And right about then, Ocean, your head clonks against the stone as he pulls you to the top.
Ocean kind of shakes his head and like, oh, am I at the bottom of the moon well? And he opens his eye and looks at Book and like, Book,
you bastard.
What are you doing?
Why the so what? So you shoot my dad, and then you think you just get to peace out before you help me save him? The fuck is that? Get your ass up here. I think my whole body's broken.
Ocean lays on the ground and stares up and says, my connection's to the tower. I'm a threat, Book. My presence is a threat.
Yeah, you're gonna be a threat to them if I have anything to fucking say about it. You owe me. You owe me this. You're gonna help me save him. Save them. I don't know. You're gonna help me.
Book, I might already have. And he kind of lays there and sits and says, I got some more of my memories back. Ocean kind of lays there and says, I captured your dad, but I learned some things about the nature of the tower.
Hey, Ocean.
Yeah?
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Can you tell me on the way back
Yeah, that's...
to Hamlet Opening? I'm literally, my femur is in 3 pieces, I think.
Here, let me do this. And he lays his hands on you. Anything speaks. Yeah, healing touch. That's it. That's a 10. So I'm going to say, take the pain away, tissue do damage, and bones back together.
With that, you can heal full 2.
Incredible. I'm back down to only 1 harm.
Nice. No, yeah, you feel pretty great. The rash you had on you, the not road rash, but weird, smooth, neutrino reflecting concrete rash you got heals right back up. All the little speckles disappear. Your shoulder and your bones in the top of your arm feel just
straight up. Completely forgot I had a rash. Okay, so we're sitting in the spider that's refusing to start, and you're gonna tell me the recap.
Yeah, while you're in there, I'm sure Ocean has multiple fuel tanks involved in this thing. There's probably literally just a switch, which would have been a really funny thing if you had to go do this by yourself and figure it out.
That would have.
But with Ocean conscious, I think he can switch to the auxiliary fuel tank with a single swap. But as you're rolling back towards the long dark, very slowly up this very steep incline, probably having to use the pitons every once in a while, you can regale him with your tale. What's the short version of what you learned? What does he need to know?
Ocean kind of is leaning back and looking up and be like, I did capture your father, Book. I took him back to the tower, and while working there, I learned some things about the nature of the tower. And one of the things I learned is anyone that's taken prisoner, they brainwash and utilize to film fake television.
Sorry, what?
This sounds fake. Sorry, this sounds fake. Are you sure you didn't hit your head on the way down? I could have,
but it came back so clear. I can't think of any possible explanations.
My daddy's an actor?
No, I when I learned about this, along with some other things that occurred, I decided I needed to release him. So we sprung free and made a break for it, and that's all I remember at this point. I don't know if we got out. I don't know how far we made, but I got out of the tower with him, and we were heading towards the baffles.
Oof. Okay, so we gotta figure out if he made it there or not.
Why was he heading towards the baffles?
Your mom, your dad, they found a way to the surface.
Well, yeah. We've known that. That was their whole deal.
Did we know that they found a way to the surface? I thought they were researching a way to the surface.
I have confidence in their abilities, yes.
Well, all I'm saying...
I was assumed that their lack of presence here indicated that they were above us to some degree.
Somebody salted. I shot
Which
his dad.
Which is also backed up by the fact that one of the power cells was way above us.
It's power cell. Oh, fuck.
You know, in the moonwalk?
I'm remembering something from my vision as well. Your dad mentioned something disastrous may occur if we take both of the power cells out of the power station.
Huh.
And Ocean holds up both power cells.
Well, you are welcome to put one or both of them back.
Has anything changed at all since we took those power cells out that we've noticed?
No, you've looked, they still have the same glow that they have before. Vesuvius still seems to be doing fine, even though he did exert himself pretty heavily previously. It seems okay.
Did he say like what exactly would happen if we took both? Like, is it both? Like, can we take one?
You know, now that I think about it, actually, he was really obnoxious and just chuckled and mentioned that something bad may happen if you took all of them. Huh. Your dad was very cryptic, Book. The more I'm learning about him, the more I'm realizing this.
This is a dilemma because I like to do the right thing most of the time.
But what is the right thing? Maybe providing power to the people of Hamlet Opening is the right thing. Maybe not stealing things from a place that doesn't belong to you is the right thing. I don't know. So I just try to get my jerky and move on.
I feel like it's in the public domain. I think that energy source is in the public domain. Yeah. So it's not stealing.
I don't think you guys should go back down there. I'm not convinced you would survive another tiff.
Yeah, Ocean looks at Book and looks at himself and says, I don't think we can survive, but I definitely think we should prioritize being Hamlet Opening on the grid.
Yeah.
Maybe later, if we notice something strange is going on, we can come back and return one of the 2 cores.
Let's only use one of them, and we'll put one of them aside for bringing back in.
All right, that seems fair.
Unless we need it.
When you get back and Hamlet Opening's on fire, everyone's running around screaming.
Don't feel great about this. Well, I'm glad my dad's not dead in your memory so far. Keep me posted on that, please. Unlike, recently when you were keeping stuff from me.
Well,
you still owe me one destruction of the tower and one finding of my parents, and then we'll call it even.
that makes 2 people wanting me to destroy the tower at this point.
Yep. Yes, it does. Let's do it.
Ocean shakes his, oh, that reminds me. I need to find Crab.
Who the smash cut?
Ocean looks at Book and says, "Oh, Crab. I just remembered him. He was one of my friends in the past. I bet he's still at the tower.
Wait, who's Crab?
He was a guy I knew in the past. He helped me escape with your dad.
He's probably dead, dude.
He could be.
They don't seem
know.
like they're not. They don't seem like. I don't. No offense to your former associates. They don't seem nice.
No, they seem like dicks."
Do you think they would have found out that Crab helped you escape?
Well, the people, from what I'm remembering now, the people of the tower aren't necessarily our enemies.
Huh?
It's the one in charge of the tower.
Of course.
And your dad also brought a theory to me.
The old I was only following orders argument.
Your dad brought a theory to me that maybe we're overestimating this AI.
Yeah? How so?
He suspected it was programmed for exactly one purpose, and that was to do something while the city was still maintained as in a proper city. And now that its programming is no longer relevant, it keeps falling back on its previous ideas. And because of that, it's just basically acting on a routine that's no longer applicable.
I have a question. You did say that it was making people act in shows?
I did indeed.
So this thing it's for entertainment.
That would be really fucking funny, Stu, if it's an evil AI is entirely meant for entertainment. And that's the big reveal, is like, why did you do all this? It's like, for you. To feed content slop to the masses. Yeah.
That would be such a meta commentary on this podcast.
Yeah, to feed slop to the masses on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay. So, I mean, that would be good. The only issue with that is that even if it's not very competent, the people who are quote unquote not our enemy are very good at killing us.
That is true.
So we have that to deal with.
I think we just keep doing what we've been doing. If they're in our way, stop them. But if we can, try and rehabilitate them.
Yes, I agree. I like the rehabilitation aspect. I like the stopping of the AI aspect. I don't like the fact that the AI is making people act for fun for no apparent reason. I also don't like the fact that my parents were here like 3 years ago and didn't say goodbye. So I'm gonna just sit in the back for a little bit. Gonna curl up here, and you just let me know when we're back at Hamlet Opening.
Shotgun.
Book just starts bawling in the backseat.
Ocean leans over, and if it makes you feel any better, we were trying to make him stop. The last thing I remember is me and your dad trying to stop your mom from leaving without you.
Yeah, that does not actually make me feel better or worse.
The way you worded that sounds kind of worse, honestly.
I don't know. I never had parents. I don't know what's good and what isn't.
I am just going to try to process that in the back seat.
All right. You just enjoy yourself, and he pats him on the shoulder and keeps driving.
Look like winces away from the contact and pulls his coat over his head.
Ocean puts in his go-to, which is Avril Lavigne.
Complicated.
Oh shoot, Complicated's a great choice. I was about to go through my Avril Lavigne album.
I always know the best Avril Lavigne song for the current situation because it's always complicated.
Book is in the backseat going, hey, you, I don't like your... And that's it. I don't know the song Complicated, so that's all I got.
Yeah, that's pretty off. You guys roll back, you make it to the long dark, and I'm not going to make you navigate the long dark roll because it has been too long without an end of session.
Oh my God.
So, yes, we're going to get to do end of session. Don't worry, people listening. I know I say this every time. This isn't actually the end of the episode. We're just giving them some XP and triggering some moves. Okay. At the end of a session, choose a character who knows you better than they used to. Tell that player to add +1 to their HX with you on their sheet. If more than one character knows you better, choose at most 2.
Can I add Charles Davis on my sheet?
Absolutely. I think you can make him a +1 total.
Do you think I could put fake Suvius to a +2?
Yes, absolutely. You learned a lot about him recently.
Did we?
Mostly how much he's just okay with being on wheels versus cool robot body.
That's true. It's very true.
God, that's funny. What a wonderful cast of characters we have in this podcast.
I feel like Book has to know Ocean better than he did before because of the way he lied to him.
I agree, but I thought I only got to pick one person.
No, at most 2.
Oh, I should have been picking 2 people all this time.
Sometimes you have. I think both of you could pick each other this time fairly. Right. You both had some pretty revealing moments. Ocean learned a lot about your dad, which is clearly an important part of you. And then Book learned about some of the secrets Ocean's been keeping.
That's fun.
Okay, everyone, judge for yourself our favorite question. Are you satisfied with the world and your place in it?
No.
Every time you ask this, we're less and less satisfied with the place of our place.
I'm so angry.
So get +1 XP, both of you. And then judge for yourself, does your scavenge choice still hold true?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think mine has changed again.
Is the truth now important to you again?
Yeah, because Ocean lied to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it.
Ocean's he's gone through a character arc, a little mini Book character arc.
Yeah.
I like it. No, I think that's definitely very interesting.
So I got to change my barter back to -1.
Book, you also have an end of session move that I think is called Interrogating Realities, or I could be wrong.
It is called Interrogating Reality, singular.
Wow. Just one reality?
Yeah.
Boring.
There's so many mysteries here that I have not even attempted to resolve. So for Interrogating Realities, I choose one of my mysteries and I need to mark it true or false. So Stu, you can tell me if it is true or false, or you can tell me not to mark it yet at all. Given what we've learned about my father in the recent episodes, and given what I know that they were trying to achieve, and what we learned about Ocean as well, about where he comes from, and like the technology that humanity had prior to the apocalypse with the neutrino power, Book thinks it's very likely that there is somewhere, whether or not it's the surface, he thinks it's very likely that humanity has survived the apocalypse somewhere. So the mystery that I'd like to resolve is somewhere there are those who survived the apocalypse, safe and intact, at peace, in a green and bountiful place. So Stu, I would like to mark that either true or false.
Based on everything you've heard, and also just like a feeling in your heart, you know that is true.
Ooh, interesting.
I have to keep some hope for you guys.
Oh, so nice.
Unfortunately, that place is the past.
But you haven't asked if time travel is possible yet.
I think that's it for me for end of session movies.
Excellent. You guys roll back into Hamlet Opening, and it luckily is not on fire. It looks mostly like it did when you guys left. Is there anything you want to wrap up here before we kick off beginning of session moves? Which I'll give you guys a little time jump to be able to figure out like how to hook up the new thing and work with all that. Those will be some rolls coming up that will tie to beginning of session.
We need to check back in with, what was our scientist friend's name? Antaglio, because he told us he wanted us to just come and share everything we learned. Mm-hmm. So we need to check back in, tell him everything that we saw. Ocean wants to check in with the guard that we have, like Kara and all them, to see how fortifying stuff has been going. And I have a beginning of session move, actually.
I think you have 2 of them, actually.
We have two, so we'll need to manage those.
Okay, let's go ahead and just kick off into that.
Yeah, and he'd also like to find some places to get more information about the baffles.
I know one person.
Oh, the Boxcar Children, right? Yes, Ocean wants to talk. That's what Ocean wants to do. He wants to talk to the boxcar children.
Okay, let's start with beginning of session moves then.
Let's roll my visions. My first one is determines how much hold you have to spend on my visions. That's a full ass failure, so you get 3 hold.
Oh, so I have to use 2 of them at the end of this beginning of session moves. We'll do that.
Well, shit.
Book, you have devotion with your followers.
Mm-hmm.
So give us that roll. I believe it's plus cool.
I rolled 5 plus 1 plus 3. So it's a 9.
So with our new rules, the followers you have get a little more concrete. You get to choose 3 groups that make up your followers that have kind of different specific skill sets. So what 3 did you choose, Brady/Book?
So obviously we've got the visionary, which is Ocean. Ocean is my advisor who knows weird things. Then the majority of the group is laborers like Dan Wallace, just hardworking people who are tired of getting, screwed over by the man. And then there is also an element of having, some bodyguards, people who, have committed to protecting me in the past, which would probably also include Dan Wallace, but like in a different way. From them, I get protection, I get +1 barter from the laborers, and I get insight from the visionary. And so because I rolled a mix of success, I need to make good on one of their demands. And I think I could give them R&R for my laborers because we just came back with a new power source.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. They've probably been pedaling up the power. If you guys can get this figured out, they can take a break.
Yeah, so let's go with that.
I like it. Good choice. And then Ocean, you have another beginning of session move before we do the normal ones.
So Whispers of the Grey Wing. At the beginning of the session, I get to roll weird and I get to ask questions based on my results. And these are all really grim questions kind of facing on like oncoming threats and shit like that. So let's see here. Oh, it's a full success. So that is a 11. So that means I get to ask the MC 2 questions and you got to answer frankly. I'm going to go with whose blood has been spilled and not yet cooled?
Ooh.
And who means to do death and whose heart has turned to violence?
Oh, man. Those are some hard ones. I like it. Okay. Let's also resolve your vision. So choose your...
That's actually pretty preferable because I picked my visions questions before I actually picked my Whispers of the Grey Wing. And these actually kind of line up because the choices I picked, because for those listening, we've gone through all of my vision possibilities at this point. So now it's just picking and choosing interesting combinations. So I picked the interior of a machine bigger than human making, roaring, and someone caring for you for the sole purpose of returning you alive to torment.
So real quick, let's get in our living day to day where you guys roll barter, and that'll let us know what's easy and what's hard as you get back to Hamlet Opening, and then we can get started.
Oh, it's a full success.
I rolled a 7. So it's good that I got that +1.
Yeah. All together, you guys get something that's free, something that's easy, and something that's difficult. Right now, the thing that is free for you guys is acclaim as you guys come back as champions of the Moonwell, wielding these potentially limitless energy sources. Everyone is ecstatic. Everyone you run into, even though it hasn't been set up and isn't working yet, kind of talk and spread about what you're trying to do. They feel like this is a real turning point. Everyone was really down and out previously, and they're feeling good now, especially like after the assault on the courthouse. People really thought that that society was on the edge of just collapsing. And you've given everyone hope.
Yay!
They attribute it directly to you guys.
For once, people like us.
What comes easy right now is liberty. Right now, no one is really in charge. You have a kind of loose power structure, but people, especially now with this big push of happiness that you guys have brought back, there's a lot more just openness, people walking around without being worried, people not getting their scavenged stuff taxed. So there's no pressure above you kind of leading you to behave a certain way, and that's kind of spreading throughout everyone, which is probably both a good and a bad thing.
We gotta rein them in a little bit.
And then what comes hard right now is going to be skilled labor. As you come back and you provide this power, people have been working really hard trying to pedal up the energy and things like that and scavenge. There's just this feeling that it's almost like a celebration. So no one's really working particularly difficult on something that's going to be hard to convince people to focus for the next probably at least a few days.
That tracks. Everyone's getting drunk, eating noodles.
Eating as many noodles as they can fit in their stomach. What would you guys do first when you return?
I think Book is like really obsessive. So I think Book's first thing he would be in like wherever the power transformer is for Hamlet Opening as a town. Like Book is there with the battery, with one of the batteries.
So first thing Book's doing is getting to work.
Yeah, like Book wants to shut off. He wants to like destroy the connection to Subtropolis and replace it, like, so there's no way for the AI to steal our power. And Book wants to put in the power source in a protected place to fuel the grid. He doesn't want to cut off power first. He wants to do that second. I want to be clear on that.
Yeah, that's a good clarification. Who are you getting help from? Are you getting help from Ocean? Are you trying to stay away from him? Are you trying to get help from other places?
Book is relying on Frida because Frida knows who was maintaining that before through her dad.
And Intaglio, I think, would be a good person to get to help you too.
Nah, fuck that guy. He's weird. I'm just kidding. No, maybe Frida and Randy Candy.
Frida's probably going to call in like Mako to come help out. He used to lay a lot of lines and knows how the electricity generally works.
Yeah.
What would you do, Ocean, first?
First thing Ocean does when he comes back is check in with the people in charge of protecting the town. So, or the two, Juniper and Kara, we had kind of set in like the person, the quartermaster and the person guarding. So he wants to check in with them to make sure things are still going okay and how the town fortifications and supplies are.
Okay. You get directed pretty quickly to the precipice, and they say that it's currently Kara's patrol right now. Whoever you talk to first is like, hey, no big emergencies, but she'll give you the best rundown. As you make it towards the precipice, you see her standing there dramatically looking over the edge, and she knows you coming, but she keeps kind of looking over the edge. And as you come up, you get this kind of misty feeling wash over you, and your eyes kind of unfocus as you look deep into Subtropolis. You can see the tower standing there, and you feel it trying to like draw your attention. But there's something deeper into Subtropolis that you sense is also coming. And you feel like Subtropolis has had blood spilled all throughout it at an increasing pace over the last few weeks, almost indiscriminately. You kind of shake off that feeling of the wetted ground all throughout Subtropolis, and you focus back in on the tower, which is where Kara's looking, and you feel this intense anger coming from within it. There's someone who feels like they have been held back and they need to unleash their fury. And as that happens, I'm going to trigger your vision that I literally have to because you failed your roll so bad. What were those options?
Yeah. I picked the interior of a machine bigger than human making, and somebody who is caring for me for the sole purpose of returning me alive to torment.
Your vision darkens, and as your eyes open, you realize you are deep within the tower. You're in a room that you don't remember in any of your flashback memories, and immediately feel like you start sweating. It's a dark room with huge servers towering up above you. You look towards the ceiling and you can't see the top. It seems like you're in just impossibly large room with wires and cables extending everywhere. And those screens you remember are all around you, showing all of these different TV shows. And you are typing away furiously, trying to do something you can't really track. You don't know how to read. So you're doing things that are making the screen just move all around, and you're looking, eyes darting between all of these different screens. Things will frustrate you for a second and you refocus and try to narrow down on what you're trying to do, but you feel distracted. You feel like you shouldn't be here. This isn't where you belong. This isn't your job. And then you snap out of it.
Ocean shakes his head a little bit, refocuses, and sees Kara up ahead, and then waves at her and says, Kara,
hey,
how things have been since we were gone?
Hey, glad you're back. There's definitely been more movement around the tower. They stayed away for at least the first few days you were gone, but the last little bit they've been kind of up and about, not coming in this direction, but we see them sending more people deeper into Subtropolis from here.
Deeper into Subtropolis?
Yeah.
What for?
Don't know. It seems like they're mostly coming back. I don't know if they've just ramped up their scavenging or what, but They haven't seemed to focus here recently.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Got another question. I've had some recollections as of late, and have you seen, how did you describe them? They were completely white with red eyes, is what you were saying?
Yes. They were very pale with red eyes. Yeah.
And just to kind of like tie back, do they line up, that description that you gave line up pretty well with that vision you gave me of the people in the tents? Or is that a different?
Oh, the bathhouse one?
Yes, the bathhouse.
The main woman singing had very long blonde, like platinum blonde hair.
Oh, okay. Have you seen these people with platinum blonde hair and red eyes and pale skin?
No, I haven't, but we have gotten some people coming back. We've had 2 people who came back from scavenging who both mentioned seeing people who looked like that, and I thought they were just going crazy. I thought it was just kind of a rumor spreading, because the first guy described him and it sounded pretty crazy, and then like 3 days later someone else did, and I thought they just wanted attention. It caused a bit of a hubbub for a little bit there, but I haven't seen anything from here. None of our scouts have, but people who went scavenging in Subtropolis claim they saw strange people. They didn't move like they're supposed to.
I think we need to keep a lookout for these people.
Do you want me to send some people in to try to find them?
Yeah. If we can maybe send some people out to try and make contact with them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
At least confirm the rumors, because I'm remembering from a few years back seeing them once or twice, and now what you're telling me of these rumors, and I have a feeling that something bad's about to happen.
Yeah, we want to get in front of that. So yeah, I'll send some people out. Maybe a couple town people, a couple of the former silent.
Has anybody else come too?
No one who was out has come back. We just got the 5 of us.
Do you remember Crab?
Oh shit. Yeah, Crab, the mechanic guy. Yeah.
How is he doing when you left?
I think he's still around. I haven't seen him much, but yeah, I think he's still taking care of the trucks, the Humvees.
Well, if we run into him,
don't shoot him.
Don't shoot him. Yeah, I think we might be able to bring him over to our side.
Yeah, no, we could always use another mechanic. Look, you are behind the courthouse in the substation there, trying to figure out how to hook this thing up. It's a little frustrating. Give me I think this is going to be a try something challenging. With the way you're trying to do it. You're trying to kind of force it. Not physically force the power in, but not take a very methodological approach.
You don't know what approach I'm taking.
Well, he said you're heading straight there without sleep and just telling other people to get help.
Hell yeah. Okay. So I'm using aggro?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, that's a real bad roll.
Come on. It's always the important rolls that we fail at.
And like in the calm situation, like I'm literally just trying to hook up a stupid thing to a stupid thing, and that's when I fail. Whatever.
It's not like your one has an outlet cord you're plugging into from the other one. It's very
I feel like it should, though. It's the power source. Shouldn't it have like a little
Is there
plug?
any way I can justify that Ocean is helping?
Not yet, because he specifically tried. That's going to be the downside. So you realize that mostly this thing can be hooked up just from like contact points. The power cell is how it works. So you try to rig up something that's going to be able to provide that power steadily. Got an alternator in front of it. Got these huge capacitors trying to wire it up to the normal power grid. And you think you have it set up. All your measurements are saying that it's reading correctly. But when you go and flip that switch, all of the power goes out when you try to break off the old connection. And you know that you're not going to be able to get this working without the help of either Ocean or Intaglio.
I don't want to talk to him. He's weird.
We kind of shot ourselves in the foot by saying he's weird.
I'm just having fun bringing that back. No, I think Ocean would be the more immediate person. And then if Ocean can't help, then we'll get Intaglio involved.
Well, I'm guessing you would probably head over there when you see the power shut out anyway.
Yeah, I imagine right at the tail end of Kara and I's conversation, I'm saying something like, and we should make sure we send some people out. I feel something bad's about to happen. And I turn around and I notice the lights are out in Hamlet Opening.
Dramatic power down sound.
Yeah. He kind of, Ocean shakes his head like, I'm going to go check that out. Take care, Kara. Thanks for keeping an eye on and everything.
She turns on a flashlight.
Ocean heads on back to help out Buck at that point. or he assumes this is power related, and pops over to where Book's at.
Yeah, you know where the station is, and you show up there, and there's minor hubbub around, and you give me I'm actually going to give you advantage on a try something challenging roll because you've already done this.
Sweet.
With Vesuvius.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did a version of this with Vesuvius. The power core is different, but yes.
Okay. Oh man, advantage meant literally nothing, but it's still a good roll. So that's a 9.
You can help if you want, Book.
I can help the help?
No, he's not helping you. He's doing his own check. He's figuring out it now.
Oh, okay.
He's taking control of the situation after your embarrassing failure.
Hey, this is what I did for like 3 years in the tower. So
yeah, that's a 2 and a 5 and a 2. So that's a 9.
A 9. Okay. I believe you choose one of the options.
Oh, it's just the +1 to the roll.
Yeah, +1 to the roll.
So you go and you're hooking it up, and Ocean, you're struggling. You think you know what you need to do. You see exactly what the problem with Mako's wiring is, and you go and you try to fix it, but it's still not working. And Book, you realize you kind of did some weird janky stuff off to the side that reversed the polarity of the neutrino stream, and you go all that was bullshit, sorry. And you reflick these two little wires together as they spark, and immediately the town roars to life. You realize it seems to be just like barely enough power to power the town. Your segmented off portion of the grid. The lights seem like they're at like 90%.
But that's better than what it was, right?
Yeah, no one would be sad about this. This is a good thing.
Okay.
But you don't have extra juice, basically. You can't go power some other stuff off of it very well. You couldn't like extend out into other areas. If the town grew significantly, if this turned into like a 3-year campaign, then you'd be having some trouble. But
we
right
still
now,
have the 2 or 3 extra little mini ones?
We have 1 extra.
You have 1 extra, and then the little ones would not effectively do anything to help you. You think the way they work, they don't provide enough voltage. They just are basically a trickle charge of power that is just enough to power a car.
They were powering those robot guys.
Yeah, how's that working? It's crazy.
So, but we had those little ones. We had 3, and one of them is in Vesuvius right now. All right, and then we have the 1 extra big one.
Yes, you still got a whole extra one. That, like, if you wired that in, you guys would be completely fine.
Which we should probably bring with us to the baffles, because that's what my parents did.
Yeah, I think we should definitely hold on to the one that we have currently, make do with the power that we got now. Because right now, if need be, we can always ration power at different areas depending on, we could be like, okay, if you want to plug excess stuff in, you have to do it during these times, that kind of thing.
And they became Hickory. It took 2 minutes.
Yeah, but we're different than Hickory. We're different than Hickory because Hickory would charge for this shit and taxes and did all these terrible things.
We still have what little is coming from Subtropolis.
Well, we just cut ourselves off, didn't we?
Cut it off from it, but we can still use that to do something.
That's true.
You could try that at the time you need to. Yes.
Yeah. I say we're good for now.
Agreed.
Till we figure out what nasty things are going to happen now that we don't have an extra core down there.
Frida had been standing around, not being particularly helpful for this, but getting the right people to you. And then now that the power's up, she does a little jump with excitement and then composes herself. And she goes, so now that that's dealt with, most people you see are pretty amped your back and really happy about all this and maybe relaxing a little bit too much. But there's a small subset of people, maybe some people who were either working very closely with Hickory or some people who really, really don't like him, who want to move forward with whatever we're going to do with him. Have you guys had any ideas?
Is he awake yet or is he still comatose?
Yeah, he's back up. We got him secured though.
I know this must be hard for you. So I think that, what do you think about holding a trial? Well, would you want to act as the judge?
I think that's a little bit of a conflict of interest. I think a fair open trial is a great thing. I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually a lawyer. So I was thinking I may give him the best defense that money can buy. If I don't, I wouldn't feel good about myself.
I think that works.
As long as you don't end up turning the town against us, Frida, then sure.
I'm fairly ethical. I've read all of the books.
Well, you haven't let us drown yet. So
you and I have that in common.
I think that's fair.
Who should be the judge then? feel like we need somebody who's unbiased, which is why I said you, because I feel like you have reasons to be pro and against your dad.
I think we do got to pick someone fair, and then boop, 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 out of fiction. I'm going to let you guys pick because you have the biggest group of people. If you want to ask her opinion and stuff, you certainly can. But you guys with your following are going to be able to pick.
I know who I want it to be.
I know who I think it should be.
Okay, I do want to hear both of your current answers, but I'll give you a little context. So if you pick someone who is going to be biased towards you, that's probably going to have an opinion on the town, right? Like people are going to know that. People know who your followers are. So if you pick a particularly biased person, they will certainly be aware of it. And that will color their opinions of you. It may still be fine. It may be like, that was a bit of a sham trial, but we hate Hickory and we like these guys. But just so you know.
So my idea is a military tribunal of fake Suvius, Crandall, and Kara.
The three outsiders.
I was about to say that strikes me as being making them feel very biased.
How? They're all outsiders.
Yeah. My idea was Juniper, though, because Juniper is established with the town. He's been, on both sides of the conflict and is well liked by pretty much everybody. So by having Juniper, he's a level-headed guy. He wasn't particularly hateful towards Hickory, wasn't his biggest fan.
I don't know, man. He helped us a lot.
He did help us a lot.
So I get like those three outsiders are all associated with us, but they also were not around for any of the bad things that we saw Hickory do.
That's true. My fear, though, is if we pick those three, it's going to make us look like, in our unbiased panel of judges, our three closest compatriots. Ocean goes around and gauges popular opinions on people in the town, like Juniper, Maple, those people, on what the town thinks and feels about them as a whole.
Yeah, you can do some canvassing. I also like that you're waving a toothbrush around right now. I really got your point
I am.
across.
Shoot. Yeah. This is my Quip toothbrush that I lost the charger of and is now e-waste. That's my idea, is that we canvass the town a little bit and figure out the best possible candidate.
Yeah, give me a read a person roll.
That is an 11, by the way, for my canvassing the town roll.
Okay, you get the feeling that based on the people you talk to, their opinion of them, that no one would think Juniper is biased towards you particularly. Some people you talk to actually knew he used to be good friends with Hickory, and that definitely counteracts any of the opinion they have of him liking you guys too. But he hasn't done anything super overt to support you guys on a giant bridge yelling at people.
Yes.
You think Maple also does not have, he secretly helped you guys with medical attention, but no one else knows about that except probably other people you would consider your followers. So that's probably also a pretty safe bet. Crandall, I think people probably wouldn't be super hype about an outside warlord determining what happens to him, but they don't think he's particularly biased towards you. He refuses to fit into a biased corner. He will do what he wants.
He's a wild card.
Yeah, he's definitely a wild card, but people won't think he's biased, but people probably wouldn't think he's a good choice because there's probably some sentiment that people are worried about him trying to take over the town. He was literally a warlord. Captain Noodles is certainly going to be viewed as an impartial arbitrator of truth, as he's known to be one of the most truthful businessmen in the town. The only sorts of people you probably wouldn't want to pick are people who showed up to help you during your big confrontation in the courtyard. So the Boxcar Children, Den Wallace, those sorts of people. Probably Johnny Hertz, since people have heard his opinions on everything on the radio, would all be really bad choices for people's opinion of you. Not necessarily bad choices. It depends on what you want to. You could put Pistachio Jones on the stand and people would be like, wow, what a fair trial. But he's also probably going to be like, nope, he's fine. Put him back in power.
Yeah. Ocean turns to Frida and is like, well, my vote is Juniper, Maple, and Captain Noodles as the panel, a three panel of judges. I think that would be probably the best bet. Do you agree with that, Book, or do you have any other ideas?
Book is picturing the hilarity that would be Crandall, fake Suvius, and Kara all trying to agree on something, and clears his head and is like, yeah, that sounds good.
Well, do you know when they want to have the trial? There's a couple things we really need to get done, but if they want it now, we can try and get it done before we head on our next location.
Well, I feel like we need a period for discovery.
Frida, we're thinking about we're about to head to the baffles to kind of find more information about a possible lead to get to the surface. Do you think while we're gone, you could have?
You're just telling everybody. You keep all these secrets. Now you're just telling everybody everything, huh?
Book, from what I learned, I thought you wanted to be more open.
You lie
and
to me,
honest.
but you're telling everybody else what's going on.
The only reason I'm sharing
great.
these things
That's
is because
great.
you've taught me to be more open and honest and trusting. This is all because of you.
Yeah, we're going to the surface. That's
This is all from you, Book. This is all what you've told me. Ocean looks confused. But do you think maybe while we're gone, you could kind of do some investigating for us and kind of find as much evidence as you can for both sides about what's going on?
I'm the defense, so
That's true.
Well, we need an appropriate period of discovery to gather evidence. Both parties need to be made aware of all of the witnesses that are going to be called and all the evidence that will be presented.
smash cut. You guys are in the courtroom. You're sitting behind one of the sides. You're on the prosecution side. And next to you is Vesuvius wearing just a tie. And he is whispering in your ear and pretending like he's covering his mouth, like he's writing something very important and trying to nod his head towards a paper in front of you. You look across the aisle and you see Frida in her most powerful power suit. There's a tribunal of judges sitting in front of you. You have Juniper on one end, in the middle, Maple, and on the far right, Captain Noodles sitting,
Oh my God.
eating noodles. The doors open. A disheveled Hickory Fleek almost like stumbles in. Someone has some chains behind him and he's walking forward. He has like a 11 o'clock shadow going on. He's still bruised all over the place. It looks like he has like some cast and a wraps around his ribs, but he has this just like fury in his eyes, and his eyes lock towards you, Book and Ocean, as he's led to a seat and he sits down. And then Captain Noodle stands up and says, "Well, what are the charges?" Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Oops, All Apocalypses. Go to that link tree in the episode description to find some cool shit. There's some music, there's some other stuff, just poke around. And then email us at oops@stu.cool with any questions for the upcoming Oops All Talk Apocalypse for episodes 40 through 60. The music and editing was performed by Stu Masterson. Brady McDonough made the logo, and Jacob laminates our fake IDs out of the bed of his pickup truck. Love you, bye.
Fuckhead, I'm Angry Brad.